All right, it is time for Friday feedback. We're calling it Friday feedback now instead of the mailbag because we are just regularly incorporating elements that aren't actually emails. And as you know, I want both precision and clarity. And it is not really accurate to call it the email bag when we are highlighting elements from Facebook or Reddit or YouTube or whatever the case may be. So, same stuff, new name, Friday feedback. All right, let's get right into it. Starting with some critiques, to put it lightly. Wanda wrote in, and Wanda says, you and your page must be a comedian/comedy because to think Biden is brave and has done anything good for this country is sad and blinded. Well, Wanda, you win an award. You are a critic who used the correct form of your versus your, correctly using YOUR to show possession. It is my page. I used to say it is almost a requirement that you use the wrong your when you write in with hate mail, but Wanda used the correct one. Now, in terms of Biden is brave and has done anything good, there is a long list of good things that Joe Biden has done. We've talked about it, and it is a very wide-ranging Inflation Reduction Act, COVID stimulus, the attempt to do some student loan debt relief, although it's now tied up in court, getting out of Afghanistan. I think going to Ukraine was a super interesting and politically savvy thing to do. Laying the trap around Social Security and Medicare, which completely upended the way Republicans were talking about. I mean, there's a very long list of things that Joe Biden has done. Is he my favorite president? Is he the best president? Was he my number one pick? No. But we're trying to be adults here, Wanda, please. And such black and white thinking is very, very sad. Susan wrote in, also on Facebook. This is so damn funny. I'm going to tell you what's going on here, okay? Susan wrote to me, stay off my effing page, libtard. Following it up with Trump 47, go Brandon. And then put Biden in a nursing home jail with Hillary Clinton and the Obama boys. Obama. Yeah. This is a thing that happens a lot. There are non-tech savvy right-wingers who don't understand how algorithms work. And as many of you know, if you regularly watch videos on Facebook, you might be scrolling. This is me scrolling on my phone. You might be scrolling, and then you're looking at Facebook video, and it's just showing you things. It's showing you things algorithmically. It's showing you things randomly. It's just showing you stuff. And if you don't like something and you're sort of like a normal person, you just scroll past it. There are people on the right who will contact us on Facebook who seem to think that we need to remove our content from their quote page. And that's where you end up with stuff like this. Stay off my effing page, libtard. Now, Susan could just press, I don't like this, and then she would never see our content again. But a lot of tech confusion as to, oh, yeah, I'm sitting here saying, show Susan my clips, Facebook, please. Dear God. Michael wrote in about media coverage of the grand jury foreperson in Georgia in that Trump-related grand jury. And Michael said, David, love the show. Keep up the great work. Why isn't anyone talking about media coverage of Emily Kohrs? CNN literally aired an interview of Ms. Kohrs divulging inappropriate grand jury information, then proceeded to lambast her actions as irresponsible on Anderson Cooper. I would expect a reputable news outlet to know better than to broadcast such inappropriate and sensitive information. Does the media bear responsibility? I don't think so. No, I think, if media outlets say we're not going to name mass shooters because there's like a specific reason to avoid glorifying and giving them the fame that they seek, I think that's totally fine and legit. To say we aren't going to show newsworthy stuff that someone else has chosen to provide because of how it might impact a case, even though there is no legal issue. I just see it as very different. I don't think CNN is doing anything wrong. It should be up to the jury foreperson to decide, is it appropriate for me to speak or not? And for whatever court-related authorities to manage that. But I don't think media outlets are doing anything wrong by showing the interviews. Derek also wrote in about Emily Kors and says, sounds like someone close to Trump got to this woman. More tampering. Nobody in their right mind would think this is a good idea except Trump. A few people did write in and say, David, it occurred to me that maybe this was something someone on the Trump side encouraged Emily Kors to do, this bizarre media tour, knowing it would be useful to Trump. I understand why people are making the suggestion. I have no evidence that that's what happened, but it would be interesting to look into it. Dean wrote to me about Donald Trump's I think he means plan, to eliminate crime, and says, hey, David, someone should ask Trump if he could eliminate crime in the U.S., why didn't he eliminate crime in the U.S. during his 4 years in office? It's a perfectly reasonable and sensible question. But if you presented it to Trump, Trump would say that it was because of Democrats. Democrats blocked him from doing it. But if you vote him in next time, he'll have the House and Senate. And this time, Democrats won't be able to block him. Or, we often feel in politics that we have these gotchas. And of course, Dean's question is 100% reasonable. Why are you now saying you're going to do all these great things, which you couldn't or didn't do during your first term? They have an answer. And the point is their followers will accept that answer. Kevin wrote to me and said, David, do you have any advice in regards to particular methods you find useful to keep yourself strong in the face of constant terrible news? With Flint, Michigan, now Ohio, it's become very apparent to me we're on our own. Our leaders don't care about us at all. I find it disgusting that Democrats are unwilling to speak up at all about Ohio. I don't know if that's true. And they let Trump swoop in and act like he gives an S about anybody other than himself. It was a good move Trump pulled going there. Makes him look good. It's hard to remain hopeful when it seems like fascism is about to fully take hold and has no real opposition whatsoever. Keep it up, David. Hopefully the internet remains intact and you can continue to upload. It's important to know what's going on. Honestly, I know that a lot of people aren't going to like this, but honestly, here is what I recommend to keep yourself sane. Understand there's a limit to the number of issues you as an individual can fix. And for health reasons, it's really important to say, this is going to be my intake of this stuff, and that's going to be it. I've said for me, unless I'm like streaming something on the weekend, from the time I'm done with the Friday show until I start working on the Monday show, I pay no attention to news and politics. And it is really healthy to set those limits because you're right, Kevin. Otherwise, it becomes overwhelming in that way. Ellen wrote in and says, David, you set out all the reasons why it wouldn't make sense for Trump to sign the Republican loyalty pledge, but we all know he doesn't think rules apply to him ever. My guess is it wouldn't bother him to at least, in the least, to sign the loyalty pledge when it benefited him by getting him on stage, and then turn right around and run as a third-party candidate if it suits him. He'll have no trouble at all truthing that it was a plot by the rhinos and he's not bound by it. Ellen's completely correct. And in fact, I mentioned this on the Monday show. Trump's most likely scenario is if he has to sign the pledge to debate, he'll do it. And then if he loses and wants to run third party, he'll do it. And when people say, well, but what about that loyalty pledge, sir? He'll say, it doesn't apply because they rigged it and they stole it and whatever. Thorsten wrote in about me taking time off and says, Dear David, sir, I'm a great fan of your show and just saw the mailbag video. That's the reason I want to say something positive about supporting your replacements. None of them are as good as you are. That's because it's your show, but all of them did a very good job. It's extremely hard to replace the front runner of a show, even for a short time of vacation or parental leave. Everybody has his own voice, style, way of speaking, of declaring something. I think you did a good job with the picks. Well, I appreciate that. And then lastly, from TB or TBM, hello, David. I wish to thank you for not starting your broadcast with the word so. I've begun to avoid sites that do. Use of so to start a broadcast is as sloppy as "What's up, everyone?" Both of these rank up there with "at this point in time" or "in this moment," both of which drive me to distraction. Laziness has no place in journalism. I'm pleased the malaise hasn't infected your programs. Yeah, so I guess that would be like if I started a show with something like, so Donald Trump did another crazy thing. I guess I don't do that. I've never noticed people in general doing that. But to the extent that TB likes that I don't start my episodes with "so," I am at your service, TB. Thank you very much for letting me know. Remember, you may be featured in Friday Feedback if you respond to me on Twitter, leave a YouTube comment, respond on Facebook, whatever the case may be. And you also, of course, can continue to email info@davidpakman.com if you have something to say. We also now have the David Pakman Show in Spanish with, where are we from the standpoint of subscribers? Where are we doing on Spanish? Right around the 2,000 mark. Yeah. So we are building the Spanish channel. It is the same content dubbed into Spanish for folks who prefer to consume the content in Spanish. You can go to davidpakman.com/Spanish to find the channel. And I will see you next week. And producer Pat's on the bonus show today. He'll see you in a moment.